All right, so get ready because
Yeah.
today we're diving deep
Yeah.
into the brain and love.
Oh,
And we always bring in the experts, right? So
absolutely.
to help us unpack all this juicy stuff, today we're taking a close look at an interview with Helen Fisher.
Oh, fantastic.
Now, she is a biological anthropologist who spent her entire career trying to figure out, like, what makes us tick when it comes to love.
The mysteries of the heart.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So get ready because we're going to learn all about what's really happening up in that brain of yours when you fall head over heels.
Yeah.
Now,
I love it.
okay, so
So one of the most interesting things that Fisher talks about is
Yeah.
that we haven't evolved just one system for love,
Okay.
but three
Yeah.
separate brain systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got the sex drive, romantic love, and attachment.
Wait, hold on. 3 brain systems?
Three.
So you're telling me it's not as simple as like you meet someone, you date, and then bam, you're in love.
Not necessarily. Nope. These systems, they can fire up in any combination,
Huh.
and any of them can actually lead you to a committed long-term relationship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so think about it. Like, someone might start with this, like, powerful physical attraction, that's the sex drive.
Right.
And then they suddenly find themselves, like, head over heels in love.
Okay.
Or maybe you start off as friends, right? You
Yeah.
have that comfortable attachment.
Right.
And then that slowly grows into something way more romantic, like over time.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I'm starting to see how these different like paths to love actually play out. I can definitely think of some examples in my own life.
Oh, absolutely. I think we all can.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say like you do feel that initial spark,
Right.
right? You're like, ooh, hello. What's actually going on inside our brains at that moment?
So picture this. Okay. Near the base of your brain, there's this
All right.
tiny little area called the ventral tegmental area, or VTA for short.
Yeah.
Okay. You can think of it as like your brain's pleasure center. That's where the good stuff happens.
Okay.
All right. So when you experience something super rewarding, like, falling in love, this little area just explodes with activity. It's like, boom.
Wow.
And it starts pumping out this neurotransmitter called dopamine.
Oh, dopamine. Okay, so that's why we feel so like euphoric and like completely obsessed when we're falling for someone. It's the dopamine.
You got it. It's driving that intense craving, that almost like addictive feeling of wanting to be with that person like 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
It's like your brain's internal reward system hits the jackpot.
You win. You win the love lottery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You win the love lottery.
But wouldn't knowing that it's just dopamine, like a chemical reaction, make it easier to, I don't know, like resist those feelings a little bit? Or at least not make like crazy decisions when you're totally smitten?
Well, in theory, you would think so, right? But our brains are powerful. But I will say that understanding like what dopamine is doing
Right,
can
yeah.
help you keep a cool head, especially in those early stages when,
Yeah.
things are feeling super intense. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, hold on a second.
Right. So this dopamine rush is like serious stuff. But what about when people are like trying to keep things casual? Can you really separate like the physical from the emotional when, your brain chemistry is getting all mixed up in there?
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
And it actually leads us to this like super interesting area of Fisher's research.
Okay.
So she's found that even just sexual stimulation
Yeah.
can trigger that dopamine system,
Really?
which can really blur the lines
Yeah.
between like a casual fling and something more serious.
Whoa. So even if you start out thinking like, okay, this is just a hookup,
Right.
your brain might have totally different plans.
Exactly. It happens.
Wow.
And, Fisher and her graduate student, Justin Garcia,
Mm-hmm.
they've even suggested that some people might actually engage in hookups, hoping that it will trigger those deeper feelings
Oh, interesting.
and lead to a more committed relationship.
So is our brain kind of tricking us then? Like we're trying to keep it light and casual,
Right.
but our biology is like pushing us toward this deeper connection.
Well, it's definitely more complicated
Yeah.
than just making a conscious decision,
yeah.
Our brains are wired for connection.
Yeah.
And those systems can be activated in ways that we don't always expect.
That's really fascinating. So it sounds like understanding these 3 systems,
Mm-hmm.
the sex drive, romantic love, and attachment, like it's crucial
Yeah.
for navigating the complexities of relationships. It's not just about what we feel, but it's also about understanding what's happening in our brains too, right?
Absolutely. And, Fisher's research doesn't, like, give us all the answers,
Right.
but it does offer, like, a whole new way to think about love. If we can just recognize, like, the roles these systems are playing in our experiences, then we can actually approach relationships with so much more awareness.
Right.
And
Wow.
maybe even make, like, more informed choices.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. Like, love is this complex mix of
Rosita.
biology and emotions and so much more. I think what I'm taking away from all this is that love isn't just something that, like, happens to us passively. We can actually learn to understand the forces at play and kind of navigate our relationships with more intention.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really powerful idea.
It is, yeah. And it makes you think, right? Like, knowing what we know now about the brain and love,
Yeah.
could we, like, consciously influence how we experience love? Like, could we hack the system in a way?
Ooh, that's a great question. I love it. Well, that's something for all of you to think about after our deep dive today. What a fascinating topic.
It really is.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into, well, who knows? The brain. It could be anything.
Stay curious.
Right. Stay curious.